what I'm getting ready here to do is hip structures and movements. People send, there's a little girl on the board, and she has hip dysplasia, right? But I want the parents to understand what the movement is. Now, this is going to be not perfect because it was folded, but when I'm here looking at this, one of the first things I look at, which someone has already marked up from before, but they have to understand where the structures is where that movement is off the pelvis. So you can see here that the leg is way out. So what I usually do here is look at the femur head, and obviously the hips don't go into the pelvis, but it still needs to support your pelvic movement. So I look at the pelvic arch here, and again, and try and put into position, but this is where it is a little off. Whoops. Sorry, I'm trying to do this one-handed, so let me get two hands on it. So when I'm looking at this, I want to create so that to show the torque that's going on in the pelvis. Also have incomplete ischiums on this one, so I've got to note it. Incomplete ischiums make it really difficult, almost like a pincer. They will tell you those ischiums will complete by age 7. It's not common that it happens, but again, and so it makes already sitting difficult. But she has a problem here right now is if you look at the torque, there's no hips structure being formed. So on this leg, we have coxavalga. This leg, the left leg, wants to come under the pelvis. Right now, they've marked it out to here, all the way out here. I would actually put the structure here. Why am I saying that? So again, where it's marked here, telling you where the subluxation is. So they're saying it's at 80%. I'm saying it's at 100% because it's moved over. But if you're looking at the spacing of where they have, where the hips should be formed, it's not over there. It's right. It is that the pelvis is not formed. So one of the things that the child has to look at, or the parent has to look at, is even the threat of scoliosis curvature, because that will go, as you can see, this pelvis, because it's subluxing going straight up, there's a risk of the upper thorax almost having a kyphosis or that kind of structure, because the pelvis itself is not supporting the spine. Now, she was put in a brace for hip dysplasia, but my concern is, and again, it's a concern because I'm not a doctor, we don't even have hip formation. If I go to someone else's hips, even though you can see the torque, you can see here where the hips want to form out. Here's another one. Now these hips are out, so they don't have it, but here you can see how the hips want to form an arch here to support the structure of the pelvis going here. I don't have that here, right? You don't even have the archway. It hasn't formed. So the parents need to be informed, and again, talk to the right orthopedist, that with the braces that they're in, are the braces there just to keep this from migrating out more, versus the hopes of this creating a hip structure to go into by supporting it. I don't believe the hip structure is going to be created, but again, I'm not a doctor, I'm a movement person, but right now, this child can't be placed into standing whatsoever, or even sitting, because of the threat of this becoming, the domination because it's out. The subluxation is there. They might not call it subluxation because he's never formed. And so it's just a structural deviation. Subluxation is when, you had hips and the structure's there and the hip came out. But they're looking at these calculations now, more so I think than the spacing of the hips. So now I'm going to do a Zoom with the parents, and that's one of the things that I do all day. Now you know why I'm so behind on all my Facebook Lives. Thanks, guys.